Today we talk about 10 red flags of public speaking. Now this is a more negative part of this masterclass. What are the 10 things that we do that we must stop doing? I want you to check yourself. Most of us will have 3 or 4 that we know we need to work hard to get rid of. Number 1, eye darting. The sight of an audience is not an easy thing to bear with. And so, the extreme of a good eye contact with your audience is eye darting, where you look around as if you're searching for a suspect. And while you're speaking, people then begin to wonder, what are you looking for? Because it's quite distracting to speak to someone who seems to be looking elsewhere like I am doing now. We're on video, but I know it's distracting. You cannot really hear what I'm saying because you are wondering, what am I looking for? So eye darting is a no-no. Get rid of it. Have a good, consistent eye contact with your audience and balance your look around the room so that no part of your audience feels like they are neglected. All of them, they know you're talking to them. Number 2 is distracting mannerisms. We spoke about some of them. These are bad habits that affect your audience attention. Okay? There are people who love addressing you and they keep saying, okay, it feels like you think I'm a child, like I'm listening to you, I'm here. You need to learn to read people's responses without asking them for okay. You can't say every 2 minutes, so I'm selling insurance, okay? Okay? It irritates on a personal level. I think it's worse in an audience. Speak. Watch people respond to you in eyes, in nodding, in laughing, in clapping hands. Don't keep on saying, you understand what I'm saying? Get what I'm saying? Get what I'm saying? Get what I'm saying? It's a habit you need to teach. It affects the quality of your presentation. Number 3, low energy. There's nothing as boring as listening to a speaker who is bored. If you are not interested in what you are telling us, why must we be interested? So there's a need for energy. So rest before an important talk. Have rituals that you do that get you in the mood. So that no matter what happened in your life before this presentation, we need the best of you. Some people hum. Some people like to sit and just be quiet for a while. Some people pray. Some people... A number of things that people do to show or to empower themselves to be ready. So that when they get to that stage, the energy are on a high. When you get to an audience. And the energy must not be faked. That's another thing that worries me. Be authentic. There are speakers who are just amazing, who come to the stage and say, hey, ladies and gentlemen, come on, everybody. They can do that. This is their portion. Find your energy. All we're saying is that as you speak, let people realize that you are here. You are here. You are here with us. And you love what you are doing. Not somebody who stand up and say, hey, ladies and gentlemen, I really didn't want to be here. At that point, stop and sit down and give somebody else a chance to speak. Never make an audience feel like they were the last option in things you wanted to do. Be excited to address them. I'm happy to address you today. It's an honor. I'm honored. Thank you for listening to me. Number 4 is not rehearsing. We've touched on this again. It shows when you have not rehearsed. You need to be a mad person. Stand before a mirror, they say, and make your presentation. Speak. Speak as if there's an audience. When the lockdown was started in South Africa, we saw something amazing. All churches, most churches started having online services, and services for them means somebody's preaching. They started preaching. There were people who were at home in front of the camera because they've done it so many times before. They understand that in front of the camera, you're addressing a different audience. And your mannerisms have to change. Okay? Your mannerisms have to change. Did you hear me? I just said, okay. Your mannerisms have to change. You can't speak to the camera and speak as if you're not sure of what you're saying. And so the importance of rehearsing is highlighted there. Somebody sits in the camera and they just stare at us and they drag on and they drag on and they make us fall asleep. And others engage us and they know that straight to the point. There's no time to read body language. Straight to the point. Make that joke. Make that example. Make that thing straight to the point. There you go. That's one of the reasons this masterclass is divided into 15-minute segments, because an online audience is not like a live audience. So rehearse. Don't feel bad about rehearsing your speech, so that tomorrow when you start making it, people are like, wow, it's a sign of rehearsed speech. Everything is rehearsed. When soccer players go to the gym, they are rehearsing what they are going to do. Sometimes when a free kick is scored, you hear the commentator saying that's a training ground move. Clearly, they've done this before. So when you speak, let there be a sense that you've done this before and you are taking your audience seriously. Number 6, data dumping. Data dumping. You know a lot, we understand. But don't dump it on the audience. Some speakers just dump facts. In 2018, such and such happened. There are 485,000 such and such. The purpose of your talk is to communicate to the audience. Simplify the complicated. Don't just throw numbers at them so that they're like, hey, this guy knows his story. That's not the purpose. The fastest way to lose an audience is to bury them in data. Numbers are important, but their meaning is more important. Start with significance, then give a factual source. Rather than saying 80% of so and so are doing what, let us know why you are about to tell us those numbers. Then we'll be interested in the numbers. Don't data dump on us. Another problem, number 5, is lack of pauses. Lack of pauses. A speech that goes on as if you're in a hurry to go somewhere. Pauses are important. They help the audience to consider what you're saying. Instead of saying, okay, make a point and have a little pause. If you are not used to pauses, have a glass of water. After a point where you want people to start to think or to ponder on what you just said, drink water. That split seconds where you drink water, they are thinking about what you're saying. Then you hit them with a resolving point after that. I'm doing a countdown. Number 4. I started at 10. This is number 4. Humor. You need some humor, not too much. Not a dry talk. Humor is not telling jokes. Humor is the ability to see the funny side even in the hard happenings. If while you are speaking, something happens, electricity falls, or somebody blabs, or whatever is uncomfortable, use that opportunity to throw in a humor to show that we are still in charge. You don't throw your coats out the window and be like, what type of an audience are you? I'm serious, I'm here to speak. No. Make a little joke, let the other members of the audience laugh, then go back to the business. And whoever was doing whatever they were doing, if they were intending to disturb you, have missed, because you are not disturbable. You are too focused to be disturbable. So don't have too many jokes. There are speakers who are funny by nature. We must allow that. Some speakers are natural fun. They don't tell jokes. They speak and people laugh. That's okay. But don't make a collection of many jokes because you want to be funny. No, being funny must be an organic process. It happens as you see something striking and you'll be like, oh, and you make a quick joke and you go back to the business. Number 3, we're counting down, reading. Somebody must tell the government ministers that we don't hear them every time they give those long speeches because they are reading and they make us sleep. Is it a must that politicians must be boring? I don't think so. So they need also to go through some coaching and training on speaking. You don't read. Even in parliamentary regulation, reading is not allowed because we assume you know what you are talking about. Have notes to make reference to, but read in your voice. Speak in your voice, don't read. Sometimes you may be reading, but people who are listening don't tell that you are reading because you are reading in your natural voice and still in touch with the audience. These are skills that you must develop as a speaker. There are written speeches that you have to read, but your reading must not be boring. You must read as you speak to them. Let me read something for you from my book, Dear Oliver Tambo. When we look up to people we admire in the spaces where they are famous, these people are famous in spaces, and we look at them there, we never get a chance to interrogate other parts of their life. Oliver Tambo seemed to lead a life of balanced interest. One of his clear influences is conversion to Christianity in his early life. All that I said is written here, but I read it, I speak it, and I'm speaking to my audience. So this tendency of when we look to people we admire in this, no, it must fall. Number 3, reading. Number 2, being inaudible. I don't know if there's anything worse than a speaker who I can't hear. A speaker who doesn't make an effort to project. You must stretch your ears to hear them. No. Project. Practice project. One of the powers of rehearsal is that you learn how to project your voice. And the more you do it, the more it becomes your natural voice, a projected voice so that people can hear you, no matter what type. It can be a small voice, but you must be able to speak to people at the back, or even a deep voice. Let people hear you when you speak. Your voice is your ambassador to every heart. Be heard. And then number 1, red flag is no emotions. Speaking cold, talking about how wonderful that meeting was, but looking like you are drinking lemon juice. No. Make sure that your speech addresses all the senses. Your speech must be full of emotion. People will always remember how you made them feel. And as you speak, remember that. Let them see through your word pictures. Let them hear your voice as you project. Let them feel as you describe an emotional encounter. Describe things in a way that they feel like they can touch what you are saying. That's the type of a speaker you need to be. A speech with no emotions is dangerous. And so, the 10 red flags to public speaking, things you must watch out for. Speaking without emotions. Not being audible enough. Reading instead of speaking to the audience. Too much humor or no humor at all. No pauses in your talk. Data dumping. Lack of rehearsal, which shows, by the way. Low energy. Distracting mannerisms and eye-darting. I hope as we continue to go through these masterclass snippets, you're looking at your own speaking journey and you're going to be a better speaker after this. Thank you a lot.